Aaron William Freeland. I'm Frank Stanisci, and this is Candid Frank and Live. And no, he's not Candid, and I'm Frank, and this is Live. He is Aaron Frank and Live, I guess, is what we're doing. So yesterday, Aaron, I didn't mention to you that I spent 3 hours with the Canadian Football League talking to all the general managers and coaches in the CFL.
Oh, so how'd that go?
Woo, big story, big story. Want to hear about it?
Sure.
Okay. So what happens is that you know what NIL is, right? Name, image, and likeness.
Yep.
The college football has to let players do that, sell their name, image, and likeness. So they get a lot of money for that. Some of them get a lot of money. So anyway, we were in the middle of the interview with Chris Jones, and Chris Jones starts talking about it. And I get on my phone and I text Dave Naylor. You know who Dave Naylor is, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I texted Dave and I said, Dave, did you just hear what he said? He goes, yeah, I know. I forget the exact words we said, but both of us were going poof. And the reason we were going poof is because the subject got down to how hard it's going to be in the future to get players to play in the Canadian Football League that in their college lives can make millions of dollars. A $75,000 first contract is not going to be that impressive.
Yeah, that I can see that as potentially being a bit of an issue.
Now, that hurts hard enough, but then get this part. In Chris Jones's home state, they're bringing it down to 15 and 16.
Wow.
15 and 16. I fixed my microphone here. There we go.
So that means that those phenoms that are coming out of high school can get themselves on a bubblegum card now, and yeah, that's
and they can make dinero.
Wow.
You know, like, well, listen, I don't know. Well, what do you think? What do you think of somebody because of the popularity of the game and their ability to draw attention? Do they deserve that kind of money? Do you think they deserve it?
I think if they bring enough eyes to the game, then yeah, they definitely do.
I say whatever you can. I say whatever you can get should be yours. Why give it to those college greedy, grubbing universities that make billions of dollars on their ability? No, just kidding. They're not that bad. But the point is, they have in fact profited on young men, right? Young men and women, and these young people who have this ability to play a game, which football primarily is a very short-term opportunity to make money and to play professionally. So not only can they go to college and invest their ability into an education, now they can get some green along with it. So you know what? I don't think there's anything wrong with someone who generates profit in sharing in it.
You know what? I don't see any issues with that. A lot of the players, it's true that the colleges and universities will ride them to make money off them. So I have no issues whatsoever with players doing that. And again, these likeness deals will also come with them to the CFL. So it's not like once they get out of university or college that money stops flowing. So,
That's interesting. That's a good point.
Occasionally I do have them.
So what you're saying is a guy in college plays really well, makes a lot of money because he plays so well. And then he says to the Canadian Football League, well, okay, maybe I'll play for you guys. But we've got to do something about getting my name out there. We've got to do something about getting your game out there because it needs to be big enough for my people. Did you see what I just did there? What you created? You created a monster. In other words, maybe they can help to take their hype, add it to the game that we have that's so beautiful, and help our game get hyped by virtue of their hypeness.
And you know what? Honestly, if they've already got eyes on them, then there's a built-in fan base that's going to be coming with them when they do eventually report to CFL camps. Like I said, I don't have an issue with that whatsoever. And it's not the CFL that's going to be paying them in these name, image, and likeness deals. It's going to be different corporations that also, in a way, can help defray additional costs for the CFL. So that's a good thing.
That was the first one. Now I got another one just went. Now the CFL is going to say, um, wait a second, shouldn't we get a piece of that action?
That's something for the lawyers to work out, Frank. I'm not going to touch that one.
Well, what I guess what I'm saying is there will be there, you know, leagues are always looking for new ways to have financial streams, right? Money. They like to see new venues for money to come to the league. This could be one for the CFL because the popularity of those players could raise the profile of the CFL, and also if those players are that good and people enjoy the game, it'll keep their popularity going because they're going to need a venue for their, you know, you can't you don't make money if you don't post. Like if you're an influencer, if you have no one to influence, that's my point. Anyway, I hope I didn't lose you folks. The point being that it's a new money stream that's that we basically understand, and hopefully the Canadian Football League can ride this out, look at the full picture, and then maybe see what happens from there. So yeah, I'm happy for the Canadian Football League because they have improved their combine. They've extended the length of time and the different tasks that the players are asked to do. There's more game like format now in the CFL combine, so they can see how players behave in the context of a game situation. So that's a real good thing they've done. So let's talk about what you wanted to talk about when we came here. The Elks, they sign a versatile American.
So Ivory Durham is going to be making his way across the border. He played 4 seasons of Div 2 ball with Valdosta State of the Gulf South Conference. He passed for 6,800 yards and 69 touchdowns while also rushing for another 2,400 on 300 carries, 298 carries. He was named the Gulf South Conference All Second Team and Conference Commissioner's Second Team All Region while helping Valdosta State to the national championship game. This is something that I know Edmonton has been looking to pick up. Part of their issues last year were an inability to advance the ball down the field to actually score. So getting Ivory is a good first step for them in that.
Division 2, baby.
Hey,
That's where Edmonton and Mr. Jones, Chris Jones, they said they're going shopping in Division 2.
yep.
It's what the Canadian Football League does. Okay, the Stamps added a pair. Who the heck did they add, Aaron?
So they've added American defensive lineman Ray Thornton and defensive back Julian Charles. In 2022, Thornton actually attended the rookie camp of the NFL's New York Giants. He played He played his senior season at Texas in 12 games. Charles he played 2 seasons at Mississippi College. In 19 games for the Choctaws, he had 61 tackles. So that's bolstering their defense. We'll have to see where this goes here. Obviously, with Bo Levi going to Hamilton, this changes priorities for the Stampeders. So they've got to do something because they don't have that offensive weapon anymore to bolster their defensive line.
The Argos signed a guy named Chris Rice.
So this is an interesting signing. He's played 39 games with Castleton University between 2017 and 21, where he had 228 tackles, 69 of them for a loss, 26 and a half sacks, and 2 interceptions. He's 6'5", 245. They basically signed a wall of a man to play on their defensive line, and I'd like to see him crack the lineup.
Sparks flew, but the Habs won 3-2 over the Lightning.
Yes. Now, Montreal's been having some issues as of late. They've only won 2 out of their last 10 games, so it was good to see them actually get a decent result this time around. Montembeault was actually in for his 4th straight start. He made 31 saves. With 5:05 remaining in the second period, he made 2 huge saves to keep Montreal in the lead. He robbed Nick Perbix with the tip of his pad. And made another save and iced the puck. So that's a good thing. Martin St. Louis had nothing but praise for Sam. He says everybody played well. I can't think of a guy that wasn't good. So when you have everybody on board, the Habs are hard to play against. They just haven't been as successful as maybe they want to be.
Hellebuck and the Jets.
So this is another one. Hellebuck has been having issues. The Jets have been having issues in general lately, so it's good to see them get on the right side of it this time around. But yeah, a couple of early goals definitely helped. Glad to see them get that support. Sorry, my computer is giving me issues right now. It's not behaving.
So they beat the
Um,
Coyotes 2-1.
yes, they did. Sorry about that.
No,
29
no, I'm just
saves,
trying to help.
Hellebuyck made. So yeah, they packed Canada Life Center for that, so that's awesome. A little bit of a surprise so far this season. Arizona has actually been one of the better teams at home. They've just been terrible on the road.
Yeah. Well, at home, there's not a lot of room for them to play badly. Just kidding. Flames on Monday.
So Kempe actually led the Kings past the Flames 8-2. That was a bit of a butt kicking there. Grundstrom had 2 goals. Gabriel Velarde and Mikey Anderson also scored for the Kings. They then pulled even with Vegas atop the division by extending their point streak 10 games. They've been 8-0-2. They played a heck of a game. Phoenix Copley made 15 saves for Los Angeles, while Anze Kopitar, Quentin Byfield, and Rasmus Kupari all added two assists apiece.
Flames on Tuesday?
Flames on Tuesday bounced right back. They actually managed to get themselves a 5-1 win over the Ducks. Tyler Toffoli had 3 assists. Calgary got 2 power play goals, and they bounced back with a 5-1 win there.
Let's talk about the Oilers and the Sharks.
So, yeah. Heroics are always in short supply these days. I'm glad to see that the Oilers finally got some. Darnell Nurse scored on this team's 52nd shot as they won their 4th straight game by defeating the San Jose Sharks. There were actually 4 goals that got called back on video review, so I don't want to hear any of you New Jersey fans complaining about the 3 that got called back against the Leafs. Nugent Hopkins was actually able to spring Nurse on a breakaway with 15 seconds left in overtime to wrap it up, so they didn't have to they didn't have to go to the shootout from there. God, 52 shots, that's enough.
The Canucks and the Knights.
So right after the Kings managed to pull themselves even with the Golden Knights on top of the division, the Golden Knights just turned around and down the Canucks 4-3 to grab the top spot back. So there are a lot of valuable lessons for the Canucks to learn. One is that turnovers will kill you. The Canucks went down 2-0 midway through the first period off a couple of those. Phil Kessel was at it again, picking off an Ethan Bear pass. And later in that same frame, Brock Besser coughed up the puck behind the Canadiens' net, and William Karlsson dished it to Riley Smith, who put it past Demko as well.
Canucks, Knights. Canucks are playing really well there, Aaron.
They're playing just well enough to play themselves out of the Connor Bedard sweepstakes, so we'll leave it at that.
Oh,
I know. I shouldn't be mean.
Now, I have to, full disclosure, I didn't watch the Leaf game last night, but I don't think I missed much.
I'll be honest with you. No, you really didn't. It was tough to sit through. Just one of those. It was almost like the Leafs gave up after a certain point. They got down, and it looked like they basically stopped trying, which was extremely frustrating watching from home. Clutterbuck had 2 goals and an assist. Anders Lee and Noah Dobson each had a goal and assist, and Zach Parise, Hudson Fasching, and Simon Holmstrom also scored to help the Islanders win their 3rd straight and improve to 7-2-1 in their last 10.
No ex-Leaf scored?
I'm sorry? Oh, Lafferty and Marner.
No ex-Leaf scored?
No ex-Leaf. Sorry, I was expecting that. But former Maple Leaf Matt Martin did actually have a bit of a tussle with Noel Acciari. It wasn't really much of a fight, but at least Acciari tried to put on a decent showing of it.
After having a concussion, you can understand why he might not have been that
yeah, ready. I think Matt Martin let him off the hook on that one. I think he was a little gentler. So
let's talk a little bit about politics. We have a little bit of time left. Let's talk about Canada, and Canadian MPs of all stripes condemn Punjab crackdown as some receive online threats.
So for the last 3 days at least, authorities in Punjab have restricted communications and the sizes of gatherings as authorities are looking for Sikh separatist leader Amrinpal Singh. This manhunt comes about a month after he led a violent storming of a police station. Some of the Canadian MPs are criticizing internet restrictions and have actually they themselves received threats from various people that are fans of Modi and high-profile social influencers in media as well. Now, the Trudeau cabinet has opted against commenting on the situation, with Foreign Affairs Minister Melanie Joly deferring to Global Affairs Canada. Marilyn Guillemot says, we're monitoring the situation closely and remain in contact with Canada's High Commission in Delhi and India's High Commission in Ottawa. Sonia Sidhu says that she's receiving calls directly to her residents that are threatening. Jagmeet Singh was threatened with death. Somebody tweeting out that he should come to, if he's so concerned about Indian justice, he should come to Punjab and experience it for himself. You know, they're out in force.
Okay, well, I don't know. He's Canadian now, to expect him to deal with that kind of issue. Let's talk about passport applications.
So, for those of you who have been looking to renew, the good news is, according to Families Minister Karina Gould, Service Canada's backlog is now fully up to date. It has been virtually eliminated. You know, obviously, once everybody started to be able to travel again, demand has skyrocketed. People whose passports expire this year, Gould is saying that we should apply to renew them as quickly as possible. I know I've got some time upcoming, and I know my passport is coming up in November of this year, so I'm going to try to renew before that happens.
Let's talk about Manitoba and their respect for disabilities.
So this has been a while coming. It's been something that's been talked about for a bit. The Manitoba government is boosting funding to programs that serves people with disabilities. There's about $80 million that's going to go towards helping service agencies pay higher wages to frontline workers, starting at $19 an hour. That's an increase of almost $4 an hour from last year's provincial budget. Another 21 million, is being set aside to expand the capacity of the Community Living Disability Services, which helps people with intellectual disabilities live in their home communities. The PCs have been making a whole bunch of different promises about spending, including almost $2 billion worth of new spending. This is predictable in that Manitoba is going to the polls on October 3rd. And they're, by all accounts, the Conservatives are trailing the New Democrats in the polls. So this shouldn't come as a surprise to anybody, but I do hope it does continue.
Aaron,
yes,
the feds are threatening to close down the Rouge Park development. Why are they doing that?
Well, it appears that there may have been some chicanery and a lack of due process as done by the Ford government. Premier Ford has said that they're still planning on not slowing down and developing the protected greenbelt. Now, there were previous concerns that were voiced about Ford removing 7,400 acres from 15 different areas in the protected greenbelt lands while adding more parcels elsewhere in order to build up to 50,000 homes. So as a result of this desire to build another 50,000 homes in the Greenbelt, which is designed to feed and protect Ontario from flooding and what have you, the federal environment minister says that we're going to put a new study in place to assess how that's going to affect biodiversities and species at risk in the Greenbelt area.
Ontario Peel Regional Police recovers 78 stolen vehicles. They arrest 4 suspects.
So this is a ring that has been operating for the past little while. They say that a 3-month investigation has resulted in the arrest of 4 suspects, all between the ages of 29 to 48. They're facing a total of 34 charges, including theft, fraud, and possession of property obtained by crime. The vehicles that were stolen collectively amount to about $10 million worth, and that was back in December. The stolen vehicles were loaded by containers and taken by truck or train to the Port of Montreal to be exported overseas. They intercepted 25 different containers, including ones in Brampton, Montreal, Germany, and Spain. Nishan Duriappa said that addressing the issue of auto theft is a priority for the Peel Regional Police. In addition to the nearly 2,400 stolen vehicles that they've recovered in 2022, they've recovered over 500 vehicles in the month of January and February of 2023 alone. That's a lot of stolen cars.
Wow. Real quick, Aaron, because I got another story after this. Laughable. Canadians react to Nordstrom's first day of liquidation deals.
So Nordstrom said that they were pulling up stakes in Canada, as is their right, because hey, they're not making as much money as they wanted to here, and everybody thought that the deals would be absolutely fantastic. However, uh, Nordstrom said that customers can shop for up to 20% off beginning March 21st, but the majority of the discounts that Canadians are seeing are between 2 to 5%. So it's not even really that much of a discount, which is, I think, what they're laughing at.
Last story is one that I find very concerning. In Uganda, the MPs there, in other words, their parliament, has decided to make it illegal to be a homosexual, and it would be punishable, Aaron, by death. Yikes.
Yeah, carnal knowledge against the order of nature is what they're calling it. But yeah, they basically essentially tried to legislate homosexuality and the LGBTQIA people out of existence, which is not anything that any decent society would want to do.
That's
And
horrible.
it's horrible and horrifying. Um,
I
it,
can't
it,
believe it.
it,
I
it,
can't
it
believe it.
it's the first law apparently to outlaw just identifying yourself as LGBTQ. So
Uganda has a history of mistreating their people. This is not, all the way across. This is specific. I don't know, Aaron. This is something I think the world will keep their eyes on, but it is part of a trend. That's the scary part. It's part of a trend.
no, it's true, and increasingly in the states, right-wing politicians are not calling it transgender people, but they're calling it transgenderism, like it's a behavior or a lifestyle as opposed to people's actual lives. And in doing so, they're trying to dehumanize and therefore make it easier to discriminate against them. Because if you're behaving in this fashion, you obviously aren't that. Therefore, we don't have to consider your feelings as a transgender person. And it's
To
a
that
very
end,
disturbing trend.
in Florida, they're going up a level. It was just kids don't say gay law. It was just grade school. It's going up a level, going into high school. So the world keeps changing, and then it changes in a good direction, and then it changes. I don't know. It's that pendulum effect, I guess. We hear about that pendulum effect, and I think we're in the midst of the pendulum going the other way. Let's hope it hits the other side sooner rather than later. It really is. It's frightening to think. Um, I'm not gay. I'm not somebody who is motivated to support gay people just because um, they're gay. I support people because they're people. And the US has this one saying, political saying, and it's part of what their constitution says: pursuit of happiness. I believe in that. I believe people should be able to pursue their happiness as long as it doesn't infringe on other people's happiness. That's my qualification.
Yeah. Now that I understand, and the rule that they're planning on introducing now is grades 4 through 12, which is part of an expansion of the parental rights and
I don't know.
education law, which is the don't say gay
I'm
law.
glad I don't have children today, because it would be horrifying, I think. But anyway, listen, Aaron, that was fun. He's Aaron
Hey,
William Freeland. I'm Frank Stanisci. This has been Candid Frank Live. If you want to follow some of our other shows that we do, you can check out Candid Frank Stanisci on YouTube, 1030. Thanks for watching, everybody. Aaron, thanks for doing this. Much
thanks for
appreciated.
having me, Frank.
I need a freeze frame before I end it. Pretend don't move. That's it.